Hey guys, RageBarTV here, back with another video. Today I'll be giving you a guide on BattleMage and how I've been playing it. Now, please take note that this is from a pay-to-win player's perspective. I'm going to try to explain the best I can for a free-to-play player. With 4.0 just around the corner, a lot of tanks will be switching to BattleMage as it has been determined the best tank for 4.0 with the T3 and then soon to be T4 that's being. So let's get started. First off, we're going to start with talents, and we'll just go down the list. So talents for BM, I use 0, 55, 22. Now again, this works for me. This may not work for you. What I tried to do with this build is utilize as many double trees as I could to maximize my potential for reforges on the first and second tier. So I go 5 into hard armor, 5 into dragon scale. I choose fittest just because, again, I use this for PvP, so this is more like a PvP, but this will work in PvE if you get crowd controlled, but generally you shouldn't be getting crowd controlled in PvE. I use Strong Body just for the HP boost. I prefer Splendor. Then we have 5 into Impeccable, 5 into Block Rate. I put 1 into Heart of Iron, 5 into Roll, 5 into Ward, 1 into Savage, 5 into Hardened Skin, and 5 into Rune Armor. And then lastly, I choose Merciless. Again, just a personal preference. And then for Strategist, I'm using Cunning, and again, when I'm doing Cunning, I'm looking at my Advanced tab under Accuracy, and I'm making sure that my accuracy against a level 84 target is 100%. So once I achieve 100% through my talents, just by saving one, going and checking, seeing if I'm close to 105%, if I am, and I hit that cap like I have, I put the rest of the points into Grace to move faster. My next thing would be Fiery Resolve. Again, this tier is personal preference. Fiery Resolve, I like it because if I get silenced, I am immune. Now, this is a melee class, of course, so it would stop you from casting your Static Prism, your Shocking Grasp, your Draining Life, so need to be able to cast those skills to keep myself alive. So I prefer Fiery Resolve. Now, Precision, I just used it for the rating boost. Precision, you only need 6%, and as you can see, my Precision's at 8.6%, and that is just with, just comes from gear. Again, if you're looking for caps, you want 105% hit or accuracy and 6% precision. Those are your minimum caps, or anything more than that really isn't going to benefit you much more. And lastly, 1 point into Field Doctor. I could use Tactical Plan, but again, this is more for PvP. I don't really care about increasing my critical strike chance. That's more for DPS. I'd rather just have the more resilience, especially if this is for PvP. But this will still work in PvE. Take a look at my stats real quick. So I'm at 13,492 intellect. I'm sitting at 96% crit, 240% crit damage, 80% haste. If we look at my defensive stats, ton of armor, resistance, evasion, parry, and block. I take very, if not any, damage in PvE. PvP, I am an absolute beast. Very hard to kill, do a lot of damage because pretty much the goal for BattleMage, to be honest, is to level up, for example, a Frost Whisperer, make it very strong, switch classes to a Battle Mage, and just pick the right mastery. That is honestly it. There's nothing more to it. We'll move to mastery real quick here. We've already done talents. Electric Armor is the mastery you use, far right. Just as with every other class, you want to level up all 3 masteries. The main one, level up first to Tier 4 level 46. After T4 level 46, there's no increase to the percentage, just a stat increase. And then level up the other 2 masteries that aren't being used back and forth until you have them maxed. or until you have the resources to level them up. But you want to focus your main mastery that you're actually going to have active, because that's going to give you a bigger damage and resistance rating. So next thing we'll do is we'll go into skills. For leveling skills, honestly, you don't need level 9 skills. Now, if Battle Mage is your only spec and you're just going straight Battle Mage, I would probably recommend leveling up my Shocking Grasp to 9 first, or 10. Arcane Blast, then probably my Magnetic Shield, followed by my Draining Touch, then my Static Prism, and I would level my Dimensional Warp and Mana Maelstrom last, just because you are spamming Arcane Explosion throughout the whole entire fight, whatever you're in, and then once you get 3 stacks plus, you're going to be hitting Shocking Grasp. But yeah, Draining Life would just be for solo targeting enemies to pull them towards you. Every other spell you have is pretty much an AoE, so your Draining Touch is your single target. For engravings, these aren't optimal, so I'm going to tell you what you should go for. I would go for Sharp on Draining Touch. For Shocking Grasp, I would go for Cleave, just to hit an additional 2 targets. Arcane Explosion, I would probably go for Control, just because you spam it a lot. You don't want to be using your Mana Maelstrom a ton, so it will reduce the cost of it. Static Prism, I'd go Agile. I want to be able to use that as much as possible. Dimensional Warp, it's situational. It's up to you. Some people use Agile. Some people use Control. I would use Agile. Mana Maelstrom, again, some people use Heal. Mighty Power is also really good if you're finding you're going out of mana a lot. I would normally use that. Or I could just use Agile and reduce the cooldown by 6 seconds. But again, to each their own. Pick what is best for you. And Magnetic Shield, I would definitely go with Agile. So if I unlock that, I'd go Agile. It's nice for it to, restore 3% of your maximum mana, but you have Mana Maelstrom. You really shouldn't be having any mana issues. But if you are, Magnetic is an option. You could use Sharp, but it's your AoE taunt, so it's not too important for it to do more damage. You're already going to be doing AoE with every other skill, so why not just, focus on lowering the cooldown. For Inscriptions, as you can see, I don't have a ton of them unlocked. This is an off-spec, but the ones that I found that were really, really important were Shocking Grasp for Faraday Cage, the purple one, and I chose Advanced Long Arm just because I like the range on it. You could also go Advanced Sharpness or Advanced Brutal Force if you're looking for damage. Arcane Explosion, again, I just went straight damage, Advanced Sharpness and Sharpness. Static Prism, if I was going to put 2 Inscriptions, I'd go for, again, Advanced Sharpness and probably Advanced Brutal Force, just to get the best of both. For your Magnetic Shield, I'd go Advanced Bash and Advanced Sharpness, just to get the best of both. Mana Maelstrom, again, I kind of went out on this. You could get Energy Vortex and Advanced Brutal Force, or you could also go for Sharpness. Again, it's up to you. Magnetic Shield, again, you really don't need Inscriptions on this, but I would go Advanced Bash, Advanced Sharpness, and just split it up. And that should be all the Inscriptions that you're looking for. And Draining Touch, I'd go Advanced Brutal Force and Brutal Force. I don't really care too much about lowering the cooldown on it, unless I'm having a lot of problems sustaining my HP, but normally is not the case in PvE. PvP, it could come into play, but you should be fine. Sigils, I actually use my Frost Whisperer Sigils, so I'm going full main stat in the 3 cores. I'm still missing 5% intellect. I'm still missing 5% intellect because I haven't gotten lucky yet. This count used to be a necro. For the reds, I would go. I'd go main stat. For your blues, I'd go main stat and 1 crit rate if you need it. You want to stay between 93% crit and 103. One or the other. Anything in between, like I think I'm at 96. I could drop crit and put main stat here, just to increase my overall base damage. For yellows, again, I just put what I had. So I had level 6 crit and haste, so I used that, and then a level 5 crit rate. Again, it's situational, but you really want to go for damage. You're so tanky as a battle mage that you just want to do as much damage as possible, and the rest should work itself out. Now, if you're free to play, you might want to start putting dodge and evasion and crit damage mitigation. Check it out, see how much damage you're taking in dungeons. Ask the healer, am I squishy? Am I taking too much damage? You can see your health. If you see your health dipping a lot, that's when you got to start looking at your sigils and your block, your parry, your dodge, and seeing, okay, do I need to increase any of this? As for that, the only thing really left is your runes, and again, I went straight DPS. All my runes are damage. I kept them. Now, again, if you're squishy, you would use tank runes, so your goal would be obviously level book 13 and match the runes. Matching the runes is going to give you the biggest increase. Spirits, again, just remember for spirits, I did make a guide on this, but you want to, whatever it says your stat conversion is, so whatever you filled your temple with, so in this case, mine's dex, so I would make sure my spirits all have dex if I'm going to put them in, because this temple's dex. My next temple is spirit, so I'd put any spirit that has spirit stat into this temple, and I think my last temple is dex as well, so if I get any dex sigils, spirits, I will put them in there. That's pretty much it. It's just full damage. Switch to the right mastery, and then we'll deal with the rotation here. So we'll do a single target rotation. And I can't really say rotation because it's so situational on what spells you're going to be using. But generally, if I'm trying to pull one single ad, I'll just throw a Draining Touch. Pull that one single ad, and now, as you can see, I got one arcane power from that up here. The next thing I would do is get to my 3 stacks, and then I'd hit my Shocking Grasp. Okay, then I'd do Arcane Explosion, I'm at 3, Shocking Grasp. Arcane Explosion, Arcane Explosion, Arcane Explosion, Shocking Grasp. Pretty much all I'm looking to do is to get to 3 stacks of Arcane Power, because then when I Shocking Grasp, it acts as an interrupt. So I can interrupt with my AoE Taunt ability. If I have 3 stacks of Arcane Power, I can interrupt with my Shocking Grasp, and then of course I can throw down my Static Prism if I really want to interrupt and keep someone locked down. That's more for PvP. For PvE, when there's bosses that keep constantly casting spells, it's nice to just be able to spam Arcane Explosion until I get to 3 stacks, hit my Shocking Grasp, and that's an interrupt. So if I'm just constantly working on keeping that up, I don't have to do anything else. No one should be able to pull off you doing this rotation, and if someone does, you just hit your Magnetic Shield. Now, this does have a range on it, so it will pull enemies towards you. So if I back up and go max range, and then hit my Shocking Grasp, or hitting Editing ability, you can actually max range, and you can see the animation on when it's going to hit the target, and when it's going to miss. So you want to max range when you can, if you need to, especially if there's like the debuff Necrotic where you have to get away. You can teleport away and still keep your DPS up. Now, like I said, if I'm hitting AoE abilities and I'm hitting AoE targets, it's the same thing. Arcane Explosion 3 times. I could throw a Draining Life to get my 4 stacks and then Shocking Grasp, but again, it doesn't really matter. Your ultimate is more for survivability, so I use my ultimate when I know I'm going to take a lot of damage, but I don't really take a lot of damage, so I use it for damage. Like, I use it to do damage. And PvP, it's great because it'll keep everyone CC'd, and you just do a ton of damage. That's honestly pretty much it for Battle Mage. There's nothing more to it. Again, this was more PvP oriented. We can go over PvE, but it's pretty much the same. Whale out or get a strong DPS class, open up this class, and win. Pick the far right mastery. That's it for today, guys. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon to be notified when I post a new video. Thanks, and stay safe.